computer. Tap into your magic. That is my inspiration this weekend. As I mentioned a minute ago, that I really feel that we all have access, and we can forget it. And I was realizing that just in the fact that I just finished a 3-part book series around that was a magical book series, and I love even young adult book series. Here I am at 50, and I can still read those things and really love all the magic in them, because I believe that we have capacity to sort of move energy, and a lot of those magical stories that I'm particularly drawn to, and a lot of people that have energy awareness are drawn to, are just showing us more, possibility. So there's Kimmy. All right, good. I knew she was coming, and I saw her sort of trying to get in, so I was making sure that was all good. So, and I got some more people entering. So what I really felt drawn to when I decided, what are we doing here? We're going to tap into each other's magic. But no, we're going to tap into our own magic and be reminded of that by coming together in a group, that there's such diversity in this experience of having energy. And so I made myself some notes. I'm not going to use any presentation or anything, but I just made notes based on my thoughts today. And I'd be curious to hear from you what you know that your magic is in the earthly realm. If you have some idea about what your earthly realm magic is, here's some ideas. Maybe you make magic food, maybe you help people feel better, or you may heal people. You could just add them to the chat if you want to share your particular one. Maybe you grow magical flower garden or vegetable garden. You might be really great at organizing things. So magical organization, or what other kinds of earthly magics do you all know about yourself? Maybe you're the one that likes to work with herbs. Maybe you're the one that likes to work with water. Anybody have some thoughts what they want to share about what their magic is? You know how to chat. Down there at the bottom, there's a little thing that says chat, and you could just pop it in there. Say, hey, I feel like I'm a healer. Let's see, magic images and bringing awareness. Magical clothes. Ooh, making magical clothes. I love that. I love magical clothes. Uncovering parts of a person's self that have been hidden for a long time. I love that too. That's really magical. Being a healer and a teacher and helping people feel better. I can relate to that one. I do that a lot. Thank you. So yeah, there's all these magical aspects of ourself, and some of them actually maybe could appear quite mundane. Like sometimes when I'm just working in my garden, like with my hands, dirt under my fingernails. I don't like to wear gloves, even though I should in the garden. And I'm really honing into the vibration of the earth. I feel that in itself is a magical energy. But no matter what it is, there's always energy behind magic, whatever it is. Helping people who need assistance, somebody else is popping in with that. I believe that the key is actually the energy. This is not about the kind of magic that says I'm more special than you are because I'm magical. I think that's cute and stuff, but what I'm really here to talk about is the kind of magic that says I have a soul spark that has known infinity. And in that, I have a body right now that I can use to experience energy, which is my magic. And I've been born onto this earth right now to have experiences, whether those experiences are to experience what I can feel in my own power, if I have to surrender, if I'm experiencing just this, like I'm being reborn. I've been reborn into this body, and I know all this stuff, and I can't do it this time around, or I have to figure it out again. Or, to me, accepting the creator within you, that you are part of that creation, that even if you're like just hands in the dirt, you and you on the earth, that you are part of that creation process. And that's where this energy of magic in your magic is being presented, right? By being in your body, by knowing that that is part of the infinite whole. So when we embody that sense that we have this magic within, as simple as it seems, I often feel like I'm forcing people to go back to the simplicity rather than the complexity of what it means to be magical. I still have that part of me that I got this when I was 12 at the Oregon Country Fair. I've added the stuff later, my magic heart wand. This like being, I one Halloween, I went around and used this wand to tell people I was opening their heart to love, bing, at the party. And some people were like, yes, please do it. And other people were like, oh shit. So we have that magic just by inviting other people we're around to explore something that they hadn't thought of or that they had been hesitating with. So I just really want to, in this time of conversating together, I want to double check that I have, nobody's trying to get in. Good. My belief is that your soul's purpose is to have experiences in this life, not to be doing something. Now, we do lots of things. I do lots and lots of things. But my soul came here in this body to have experiences, and those experiences are affected by my energy and how my energy responds to it, or what kind of energy shift occurs when my body and my soul are having those experiences. So one of my first teachers, I would say he was my boss at a job at a college, said, you're here for who you are, not what you do. And I was like, whoa, that's big. And it's the truth, because even though we have this list of things to do, our energy really is what makes a huge impact. And I'm sure you can probably notice that even more so if you've had someone around you in your life whose energy is really stinky, then you're negative, then you're going to be like, oh, wow, that's some energy, and it's not, it's easy to say this is psychological or emotional. Yes, we experience the world with all of those pieces, our mind, our heart, our body, but the energy is something that we can feel even if a person's smiling and helpful and we also feel creeped out by them, right? It's like, so the energy is really, really key to how we engage with our life. And we can have an experience that, feels like, I just made a mistake, or I stumbled, or I looked like a fool, and let that energy of it take us down into some place that we're not, we didn't do something right, or we're going to be embarrassed, or we can actually laugh at it and let the energy make us feel human and like, oh, well, that happens to people all the time, right? So this is our energy, our choices, our awareness are actually directly choosing in a moment to how we respond with our energy. So in this past year, and there's sort of a important reason why I was inspired yesterday, because it was Beltane on the calendar. May 1st is, the sacred fires in the Celtic tradition, the halfway point between like spring equinox and summer solstice is Beltane. And actually this year it happens May 5th, but on the calendar it always is May 1st, May Day. We celebrate that halfway point, the beginning of summer, the fertility time, the time to plant seeds and dance around the fire and make love and all that fun stuff. And it's a rite of passage. And the reason that I felt like, wow, today, this weekend, this is the perfect time to have the conversation about tapping into our magic, is that we have been in a collective, like every single one of the souls here on earth has been in a collective rite of passage for over a year now. And it's, we could look at it like, the truth of, like, a lot of the truth of what it is, which is limitations and control and unknowns and all this icky stuff, energy that's really been a big dance for so many of us to go through. And we could look at it like, well, we're here, we're alive, and we can use this rite of passage for us to actually see it as a gateway to step more deeply into our magic, and to really acknowledge where that energy is that we have, I don't want to say control over, but we can determine our experience with, how we can use and direct our energy to affect what our personal experience is of all that's happening in the world. And we're going to do that a little later in a guided visualization. I'm going to guide you through a process that has 4 different pieces to it, of letting go of clearing stuff out, and calling your body deeper into your spirit, deeper into your body. And what's the third piece? And then we're going to invite, we're going to release the veil from your third eye. This is something that I've been really feeling since yesterday, how I get these, like, some people are privately asking me, what do you think about the vaccine? Or what do you think about this? And everybody's like, there's all these people that are afraid to have open conversations right now about things, because it's like, what if we disagree and you're going to hate me forever, which seems to be what's happening in the world, like polarization. You're right, I'm wrong. Let's go to fear. Let's go to, like, fuck you, I mean, it's really intense right now, and people feel really vulnerable about it, or like they have to be warriors about whatever their position is, and they're right, or you're wrong, or you're right and they're wrong, and there's this like conflict energy. So how much of that is a veil over our actual getting to see, right? So I feel like there's part of this whole distortion that we're experiencing in this gateway that we're all walking through in our rite of passage of what's happening on the planet, that is about, are we going to live with that veil over our third eye and just like pretend like shit's not happening? Or are we going to actually let ourselves see it and trust that we can see it and still be safe, right? And we can see it, and we don't have to punish someone else for seeing it and they can't, And so that's a lot of what I'm feeling. And then the fourth thing is creating a sacred container for your magic. So sorry, I got sort of sidetracked on the veil over the third eye thing. But that to me is like a critical piece of this rite of passage shift for all of us, is like, are we going to sort of like take that filter off and trust that it's okay if we see things differently than other people? They don't have to change the way they're seeing it, but we can at least not be distorted by what's happening in the world with what we're seeing psychically. On that, my belief is that we all came here, we're all here at this time with a purpose. I really know, and I really felt as this whole, all this Aquarian shift and what's been happening in the last year plus has been occurring, that it was purposeful that I was born at the time I was born, so that I would be of this age at the time that this is occurring, because my soul had a reason to be part of this energetic transformation. And it's had a big physical impact on me. Some of you know me and know I've been going through a physical health issue, and I'm sort of shocked by it, because my body has been something I could mostly ignore a lot of my life. And it would just work for me, and I had to deal with other stuff as my challenges. So the shift we're going under has asked us to change the way we work with energy here on the planet. At least that's my experience as a psychic, that a lot of us energy sensitives have done this, have been trained and learned to, and it has worked to go out of our bodies to get information from that energetic realm, from the cosmos. And it doesn't really work with what's happening on the planet now. We were in an earth energy field, like we were predominantly earth energy for several hundred years. And now we're in air energy. So everything wants to take us out of body. And if we go out of body, our bodies suffer. And so my experience is that I've actually had to be resetting my own way of accessing that cosmic energy and my own magic by, instead of going up and out to get it, I'm inviting it back down. And part of that's just a conscious intention. And part of that's a knowing that when I'm sitting there doing a psychic reading for a client, that I'm not going out to look at them. I'm actually getting to stay in my body and bring the information in. Because if I go out, my body is suffering. And I feel like that's like part of, my personal experience. And I've witnessed it in a lot of people that are energy sensitives that have gotten used to going out of their body to get information, that they're struggling with physical stuff right now. So that was also a little bit of a sidetrack, but it felt important to share. And when I look at this, what magic is your soul longing to experience right now? Like, what real magic is your soul longing to experience right now within this collective rite of passage, right? Where it's not to make what's happening go away. And that's the part, is can we listen to and be tapped into our evolutionary insights and that energy and that magic within us, even with all this shit happening in the world, right? It's like, do we resist it and say, or do we have to make it, blame someone and make it a conspiracy? Or can we actually use this as part of our growth and recognize that our soul's here to be here right now while this is occurring? And that maybe even though negative things are happening and there's negative energy, that we can use this as part of our own process of disillusioning, right? Like releasing the illusion of what no longer works. That's what I feel like this gateway is for as a collective, is that we're releasing the illusion of what no longer works. And it's painful. It doesn't work to do things that we had worked for hundreds of years or thousands of years. And it's, it's happening really fast all at once. And so in that, can we actually see how this is a gateway, that it's like we're in this process of a rite of passage together, and our souls came here for our individual purposes. And if we don't resist it, we can actually use the energy for our own evolution and contribute to the collective magic through that. So yes, the circumstances of the last year have disrupted our flow. Could it be that flow needed to be disrupted so something new could come through? In certain cases, yes, not in all cases. I'm sort of practical, and I believe, like I'll say to somebody, people will say everything happens for a reason, and I'm like, well, after the fact, it's has a reason, but it doesn't necessarily mean it was on our soul's path. That we were in alignment with our soul's path, and that happened. Someone might pass at a young age and die, and it may may have been on their soul path, and someone may be 90 something and die, and they maybe not been on their soul path because something intervened that was part of what's happening on earth, right? So it doesn't always mean that everything that's going on in the world is purposeful yet. What the key is about today in our discussion of tapping into your magic is that I really have experienced that it is created a whole bunch of limitations in our what's possible. Like what's been happening in the world has overlaid a whole bunch of limitation and it's gotten into I'd say I'm a believer of infinite possibility, and what we hear on the news and what we see in the society and all the things that are occurring in this grand, rite of passage we're all in is like little by little bit, and big news and little thoughts and little behaviors, all creating this sense of like, I have limited options. I have limited choices. My energy can only do this much. It can't do this much anymore to affect my reality. And so just for, because we're going to clear this stuff out when we jump into the process, I want you to just invite you to think about some of the limiting words that come to mind when you think about this past year. For me, some of those are surreal, like I can't wrap my head around it. disorienting, weird, irritating, funky, stressful. If you want to pop any words into the chat like that are coming up for you, please do. Trapped. I felt trapped at times, exhausted by it all, bored by it all, frustrated, disappointed, stuck, feeling loss and grief, discomfort, conflict, anger, agitated, I'm hearing. Like there's so many emotions and sensations that we've gone through having this experience of feeling outside control and limitations and powerlessness, or people's fear of death and underwhelmed. I like that one. And I love that Kimmy saying it's the deepest you've ever gone. I love that. And it's isolated. Yeah, isolated, it's isolated a lot of people. And then there's this whole experience around. So this is like, I'm not trying to bring us down. I'm just trying to bring all these words out into our consciousness, because we're going to clear them in our practice. So I wanted you to think about them while your eyes are open before we go into the meditation. So if something particular pops up for you that you want to clear, you can add that when I'm guiding you. Intense, codependent, focused on more important things. I love that part, because we are doing that. Feeling panic attacks. These are all, like Kimmy just said, forcing you to focus on self-care. Confused, lonely, over it. Oh God, how many times have I felt over it? So yeah. And for each of those words, you're going to claim their opposite as a step to recalibrating your magic with that energy that's been a limitation. Some of the words that I came up with, opposites to my words, were normal instead of weird, earthly instead of surreal, which is real grounded, centered instead of disoriented, titillating instead of irritating. How's that one? Funky. Oh, instead of funky, let's make it fragrant. Instead of stressful, it can be relaxing. Instead of trapped, I could feel free. Instead of exhausted, I could feel energized. Instead of boring, I could feel focused. Instead of frustrating, I could feel inspiring. Instead of disappointing, I could feel in the flow. Instead of stuck, I could feel, instead of loss, I could feel gain. Instead of grief, I could feel joy. Instead of discomfort, I could feel ease. Instead of anger, I could feel peace. Instead of conflict, I could feel connection. So those were my words, and we're going to play with those a little bit in our guided visualization, but I want you to think about the opposites too of the words that you feel that came up around your experience that were limitations, because one of the things we're doing is we're going to clear out the funk, like I said before, even the most, optimistic and grateful people that I know have been having to deal with layers of this stuff, because we are in a collective transformation. No one gets out of it without doing some work or walking into a wall. Basically, I see there's people that are walking into a wall too. Oh, okay. So we're going to use those words when we get into our guided visualization. But before we do that, I want to know what magic looks like for you. So some people, like I said earlier, I've been reading a book about, just the discovery of witches, which is now a TV program too. And it was so fun because of all this history and time travel and all these magical things that occur. And of course, I love the Harry Potter series. I've read it more than once. But is magic like witches and vampires and wizards and shamans? Is that really what magic is to you? Or does it have a special power? Like, is it, you can light a candle or with a spell or time travel or exorcise demons? there's these sort of big, like magic wand versions of what magic is, right? Bing, and so be it, and so it is. And I do, I'm not that is amazing. That's wonderful. I do it every freaking day, as you know, because that's what I do for a living. And the thing I want to really invite you to do is, in tapping into your own magic, is realizing that it doesn't have to be some big event. Sometimes it's just about working the energy so that you're on your path. Like I needed to communicate something to someone over the course of the weekend. And then when I went into town, I saw this person out in town, and I didn't even have to make a phone call or send a text yesterday, because I saw them and I was able to communicate with them. And I was like, wow, right on my path. Synchronicity. Synchronicity to me is the number one indicator that we're on our path and our magic is happening out in the world. You run into somebody just the right time. You get a piece of information right when you need it. So how can you call synchronicity in to your life? Well, my belief is that by directing your energy and staying on your path rather than going on someone else's path, then you can call more magic into your experience. And so whenever I lead these types of practices, my belief is that we're actually not just meditating and like clear your mind and blah, 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 but we're actually we're using our third eye to direct our energy. And that's when we do this type of guided visualization, and we're really intentionally using our psychic ability or that sixth sense to direct our energy. Then we shift the energetic experience that we're happening around us, and we can clear out the stuff that gets in the way of our, of us being on our path and going through the gateway into our own rite of passage that we're on right now. So while everybody has a different version of what they're going through right now, we're all still, I think, feeling intentionally being forced through this birth canal of sorts. So I feel like, let's see, I think, are we going to jump into the practice, or I have a little bit more to share? No, I got that. So we're going to jump into the meditation. I want to just to take a look at some of the comments you guys made, because I was chatting. Synchronicity and alignment, having the chills, that as an indication that you're on your path. Unconditional love, and that's beautiful. Being in pure alignment and true freedom, grounded, connected, open, patient. I love this. Great. Thanks for sharing. Balanced and soothed, some of your positive vibes. So we're gonna jump into the guided visualization. And some of you that have worked with me know that I would start with the basics, and then we dive into the specifics, because I'm a believer, because it transformed my life by doing the main steps that I'll guide you through, of grounding, putting a bubble up, clearing your center of head psychic space, and calling your energy back to you. And putting protection around your energy field. Those things transform my life, and doing them regularly. So if we do them, then we're looking at our information, and you're not having to look at my information. We can help guide you along the way, but you get to still see your truth. So let's jump on in and start by closing our eyes and taking a deep breath together. And just acknowledging that you are here now, and you're at this gateway, that you're going to release what's not serving you in our time together, and you are going to embody more of your magical self. You're going to clear your third eye of any filters, and you are going to create a container a magical, sacred space and vision for your energy. So first, bring your attention to that base of your spine, the tip of your tailbone, just from that center of headspace in your psychic consciousness. Point your attention to the tip of your tailbone and notice that that's your root chakra. That's where you can hold your food, shelter, and survival energy, and your money stuff sometimes is there. And from that root chakra, I want you to create a fresh new grounding cord. If you're already grounded, you can release your old grounding cord. If not, if this is new to you, just intend that there's a beam of light or a tree trunk extending down from the width of your hips all the way down into the earth, through the layers of the chair, the floor of the room you're in, all the way down into the soil, that chocolatey, brown, supportive, plant growing substance, soil, down through the rocks. And then notice that your grounding cord, whether it's a beam of light or a tree trunk or maybe an animal tail, finds its way down to a beautiful crystal cave. I like to see it like a little geode full of crystals just for you, energy, and wrap your roots around that crystal cave or plug into it to just feel how it anchors your energy, your spirit in your body, here and now in present time. Your energy is grounded. And using that third eye, that center of headspace between your ears, behind your eyes, just taking a moment to notice the space around your physical body, your aura. Maybe you have an aura bubble, maybe you don't. We're going to create one right now. So imagine that around your body is a big bubble. It could be like an egg, or it could be a balanced circle. And that bubble, that's aura space around your body, extends a couple feet away from your body in each direction. And to define where your energy field ends and the world's begins, I want you to intend that your aura bubble is painted a fresh color. Any color but white, not white. Just give it color. Maybe it's sunflower yellow, maybe it's green, maybe it's purple, blue, whatever color you're called to today. Painting your aura bubble gives this clear message that here's where my energy field extends to in the world, and other people get to know where my energy field ends and begins. It's contained, and I have clear boundaries with it. And then noticing again that center of headspace, your psychic space, your third eye, just taking a moment to clean it out effortlessly. Imagine that there's a fan in front of you and it's blowing through the center of your head, the third eye, and clearing out any dust bunnies, anybody else's energy that might be in your space. Just watching that big fan blow through and release particles of energy that aren't yours, that have gotten into your psychic space. Could be people, just could be thoughts, could be energy that's out in the future or in the past. Reclaiming your third eye, reclaiming your psychic space by clearing it out. And we'll do more of that in a little bit. You're grounded, you have that aura bubble painted, your center of head space, that psychic space is clear. And now I want you to imagine that right above your aura bubble, which is a couple feet above your head, there's a golden ball of light like the sun. And it's magnetically calling your energy back to you from any place that you have been, whether it's physically or in your thoughts, any people, any areas where you've released that you want to reclaim parts of yourself from, just watching that golden ball of light above your head magically attract all these bits and pieces of your own energy. And when it's full of that vibration of your own energy, I want you to put a big dollop or bucket or pitcher full of the energy of ease in there, that you get to have ease as you experience this process of directing your energy, reaching up and popping that golden ball of energy and watching it fill you up from the top of your head, down your crown, into your face, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, hands, and fingertips, flowing out of the palms of your hands to fill up your aura bubble, filling in your heart, your solar plexus, that power center just below your heart. Down below that, your second chakra, your sexual and creative energy, down into your root, that grounding space, and all the way down your legs into the soles of your feet and tips of your toes, flowing some of that energy out of the soles of your feet into the aura bubble. So that whole aura bubble, every atom of the energy is infused with your essence and this vibration of ease. It can be easy. Great. So now that your energy is set, the first step I would like you to imagine with your creative imagination is that we're going to be clearing out any of that negative energy. So I want you to imagine that there's a big bubble in front of your third eye, maybe like the kind of bubble you would blow if you were blowing gum or blowing bubbles as a little kid, or you could even see it as like a hot air balloon, that huge of a bubble. And we're going to just start by imagining that bubble is going to gather up any of these layers of programming that are coming from outside sources. So the first energies that are going to be pulled out of your aura bubble and out of your chakra body into that bubble that's outside of you and outside of your aura bubble. I'm really enjoying thinking of it as a hot air balloon today, so it can hold a lot, is to release any programming that has been contributed to your energy field by the global belief system. That could be any energy around fear of the pandemic. That could be energy. This is not your truth necessarily. This is just the energy that's gotten into your field from the world, from the whole world. This is energy about haves and have-nots. Some people get to have something, some people don't. This is energy about death and disease, control, government energy. All of that lovely programming that is in your energy field just because you're here on the planet, here and now, coming from the world, the governments, the media, the different cultures around the world and their response to what's happening in this disease cycle. The crisis, economic, spiritual, medical, social, all of those bits and pieces of negative energy or negative programming, fear-based, limitation-based programming coming from the world, from globally, is moving out of your energy field into that big bubble, that big hot air balloon that's gathering it up. The second layer I want you to invite to release any negative energy from is any of your community, your social or literal community, the people that you know, the people that are closer to you in your life. The closest people to your life. So any of their fears or their judgments or their control energy, any of their conditioning and programming and how they want you to be or behave, or what you're allowed to say or think, or how someone else or some group of people wants you to cooperate with their belief system. Just watching all those bits and pieces of that energy that's not yours. It's key. This is energy that's not yours. Move out and move into that big hot air balloon. We're going to use to clear this energy that's disruptive to your truth, your magic. Now, the third layer of energy I want you to intend that you're releasing as you're going through this process of releasing of the negative energies that are limiting your magic in this life and your energy in this life is your own history, your Akashic records, your soul's memory of any sorts of suppressions or controls. Just intend that whatever you're capable of receiving as a healing to your own Akashic records, your soul's memory from this lifetime or other lifetimes regarding the topics of control, suppression, fear of death, illness, being manipulated, mind control, altered realities. Just taking all those bits and pieces of energy that you're ready to release and claim a healing from and moving them out into this big hot air balloon, this big bubble, your personal history in any way that it's triggered by what's happening in the collective and in your community. Wow, I already see how much lighter everyone is. So I just want you to imagine that, that hot air balloon is getting a little flame that's lifting it up into the sky. And it's actually going to leave our, it's going to leave Earth. It's not just going to go up to where it's a tiny speck within the Earth realm. It's going to go out of Earth and up into the stars, into the cosmos, until eventually that big balloon full of negative energy, an energy that's not ours, an energy that was ours that we're releasing that's been in the way, is completely dissolved into the universe, no harm done, released. You might see it pop, you might see it dissolve, you might see it burn up with the flame inside that hot air balloon, releasing it. And I want you to see one more bubble in front of you. This one we're just going to use as a bubble, like you've been blowing bubbles. And this one is going to clear out some of those just negative words that we looked at. Those words that define our experience that we looked at earlier in our conversation. So in that bubble, I want you to notice if you want to just move out from your energy field, any sense that what's happening in the world is weird or surreal, and move it into the bubble, or disorienting, moving any energy around irritation or being funky or stressful. Put it all in that bubble outside of your aura field. Any sense of feeling trapped by what's happening in the world, limited, exhausted, any boredom, frustration, sending all your disappointments, your stuckness, any loss or grief, any discomforts, any of the word underwhelmed, which I saw someone put up there, your anger or conflict that's just come up during this time. And any other words that came to you that you noticed were really sort of theme words that you experienced energetically in the last year, just put them in that bubble, ready to release it. And that bubble is really full of all of those limiting energies. I just want you to send this bubble up into the stars again. Imagine it's floating up into the sky and then up into this cosmos and really up into deep into the universe until it pops way up in the cosmos and the stars and releases its energy. No harm done. Right. Now I want you to take a moment to fill in with the opposite of that energy. So just imagine that right above your head again is this big, beautiful golden ball of energy. It's attracting all the goodness that you want to experience in your life. And in that golden ball of energy, you can add whatever you would like, but I'm going to make some suggestions. And just see that golden ball of light above your head sort of magnetically start filling up with these energies. Sense of being centered, filling up with that sense of feeling inspired. Fill it with the energy of relaxation, of freedom. Add some focus, some energy of being in the flow or on your path. Put some joy in there, some peace, a sense of feeling connection. Even allowing some of that titillation or feeling vibrant. And any other energies that you would like to invite into your experience at this gateway as you have released all of the opposite energy. Let's call in the goodness. When that golden sun above your head is really, really, really full of all that good vibration, that energy, reach up and pop it and let it fill you up again from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your fingers and tips of your toes. So you've cleared out a lot and you filled in with a lot. I want you to take another step around releasing energy from your third eye, that veil from your third eye, your psychic space. So bringing your attention to that awareness, that center of head space between your ears, behind your eyes, slightly above and behind your eyes, your pineal. This is where you tap into not just your analytical information, but also your intuitive information, where you read energy, that sixth sense. And there's been this sort of hazy filter that keeps getting full of particles of other people's beliefs and impressions, and specifically part of this collective filter that we're all having to look through is the belief that we should see the world the way someone tells us to see it, rather than see it the way we see it. So specifically, as we're doing this clearing of the veil that's over your psychic space, your third eye, releasing a layer of what's not true so you can see the truth, I want you to imagine that you're just like pulling a Band-Aid off or pulling a piece of fruit leather off of your third eye, like pulling a screen that's been on a window off of your third eye, maybe the screen that's been catching gunk in the kitchen sink. Whatever image works for you, but you're pulling that off of your third eye, your psychic space. And in your imagination, you're going to just throw a white rose at it. Just imagine that you're throwing a white rose at it. And when that white rose hits this filter, this veil that's been over your third eye, it dissolves, it erases it immediately. Boom. And you get to see more clearly. Great. You get to see more clearly your truth, your information, unfiltered. And then in your inner gaze, I want you to take that inner gaze and focus it on the crown of your head, as if you're, even with your eyes closed, your inner gaze, your eyes, literal eyes, are focused on the top of your head. You may feel like you're being a little cross-eyed when you do that. Notice your shoulder blades go down your back, and your actual vision of your eyes with your eyes closed are focused on the top of your head, as if you could see what's directly above the top of your head. And then in that focus, invite your soul to come down in your body a little deeper. With that inner gaze, you're looking up at your soul self and inviting it to come down into your body a little deeper. And as you follow that with your own eyes, you can just watch it with your literal eyes, even with your eyes closed, as the gaze moves from the top of your head, down your back, and all the way down your spine. Inviting more of your energy into your body in the here and now, your magic, your essence, your soul. And then finally, this last step we're going to all do together is create a beautiful container, or what I like to call as a mock-up or a design. Just like you might have a plan to create something in your life, you would make a little sketch of it or make a list of what it contained or what needs to happen. This container is a container for your magic, for your energy, a sacred container that you can access at any time. But you're setting the intention in this moment for how that energy is contained by directing your focus. So again, I want you to visualize out in front of you. And this time what you're looking at is a beautiful container. It might be small, it might be big, it might be a big vase with a lid. It might be ceramic, it might be glass so you can see through it. It might have little sparkles of light inside, radiating from the outside. Just imagine this beautiful container out in front of you, however it shows up for you. And open the lid and begin to fill it with your intentions. Here's an example of what intention you might want to fill it with, and you can add these if they work for you, or if not, don't. The first intention I want you to fill your magic container with is that I have permission to see with my sixth sense. Put that in your magic container, that I am validated and get to see with my sixth sense. My sixth sense informs me whenever I need it to. Another thing you might want to consider putting in your magical container is the belief that you can alter your reality with your energy. You can put into that beautiful container this belief that I am able to alter my reality by altering the energy of my experience. It may not change the way people behave around me, but I get to change the way I experience it. Put that in this beautiful container. I want you to consider adding that you get to direct what you do with your creation energy. So in that container, just imagine that you're adding this little dollop of, here's what I do with my second chakra, with my creation energy. I get to direct that. I get to choose how it works. It doesn't need to be adjusted for other people's needs, wants, or desires. And in that magical container that's holding or mocking up or intending how you want to experience your own magic, maybe you want to add something a little out there like, oh, I'd like to, have a synchronistic experience today. Or I'd like to be able to speak to a deceased loved one. Or I'd like to have a relationship with an angel that can help me when I need it, a spirit guide. What other information would you like to add into that design, that mock-up, your intentions of how you're going to work with your magic? Set those intentions, put them in this beautiful container, and add some light. Add those sparkles of golden light into this container so that whatever you've intended, whatever you've added to your mock-up, the sacred intention for how you get to tap into your magic at this time, is in the light. It's not in the darkness. Wonderful. So as you have your container just the way you like it, I invite you to put the lid on it and imagine that there's a bubble around it. You're surrounding it in a bubble of its own. And just ask Source, ask the divine, your higher power, or an angel to bless it. I like to see that magic wand sort of tap the bubble to bless it so that it would be in the highest good. And then see that bubble float up into the cosmos. And this time it doesn't pop, it just floats up into the cosmos. And it's holding space for your magical container so that you can access that information, those skills, whenever you need it. Great. So bringing your attention now back to those steps we did at the beginning of this guided visualization. Your grounding cord, you're connected. Your spirit and body are connected here and now on earth and supported with this very flexible, energizing foundation. Your bubble that you painted, your aura bubble that you painted, beautiful color. Your clear psychic space, center of head space that you released that veil or filter off of, and how you filled in with all of that great energy. I want you to take one moment before we close this visualization and imagine that out in front of you on the outside of your aura bubble is a big, beautiful rose that's grounded. The stem of the rose goes down into the earth. This is a protection rose. It's the good kind of filter. It's there to raise the vibration between you and those you encounter and filter out any negative energy that gets sent your way. When you like the way that protection rose looks, you can begin to replicate it. You want to put one behind you on the outside of your aura bubble. Notice it also has a grounding cord. It goes down into the earth for that stem of the rose. Put one to your right, one to your left, one a couple feet above you, above your aura bubble, and one below your feet. So in all 6 directions, you have this high frequency protection When you're ready, you can take a deep breath and open your eyes and stretch. Well, thank you all for being here and inviting more of your magic into your life. I'm just so grateful to hold space, and I can never lead a meditation with my eyes open, so hope you don't mind that if your eyes were open. Some people can do that, but not me. So thanks for being here, and if anybody wants to chat or ask any questions, feel free to just do that. I'll just say one last thing, and that's that I do this regularly. Some of you know, some of you are in my class. I do teach Empath Strength Training, so we do a practice twice a month together, or people watch the replay, and that's my enrollment for that group is currently open. So if you feel like doing this, spending more time practicing and cultivating your energy and your magic, join me. Our next meeting is May 11th, but open enrollment is now until May 10th. So you can jump on and join our group. It's only $45 a month, which is pretty reasonable. It's like going to the gym or something, but you're doing it for your psychic self. And so thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Kimmy. Thank you for all the thank yous that are being sent my way. And for anybody that's watching this later, just saying hello to all of you and many blessings to you, and keep cultivating your magic and clearing out this information that's not your truth, and staying at peace with your own, your own guidance. Anybody have any questions for me? You can unmute yourself if you want. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording though.